In the last week of August 2020, over 435,000 concurrent players were knees deep in Among Us on Steam. In the middle of March 2022, that figure had dropped by 98% to just under 8,500 players. Since the game peaked, Senseless have released numerous updates, a new map, and have made Among Us more accessible than ever, with the game now available across all major consoles. But why has it failed to recapture even a small cut of the buzz it once had? Here's what caused the downfall of Among Us. Quick plug, I'd appreciate it a lot if you subscribe to the channel and liked the video. Thanks. Anyways, if you were to look up the meaning of catching lightning in a bottle, you'd probably see the Among Us logo underneath it as an example. For those who may not know, Among Us was released back in June 2018 on Android and iOS, with a Steam release following in August that same year. Fast forward 2.5 years later, and Among Us was everywhere. Becoming popular through a bunch of Twitch streamers, the game quickly appeared on everyone's radar, and not just for gamers, but for non-gamers too. With Among Us being accessible on PC as well as on Android and iOS for free, literally everyone and their dog could download and play the game. Given how easy it was to pick up, with very few little mechanics to learn, it quickly became the most talked about game. The main reason for this was the social deduction aspect Among Us incorporated. Us humans really are a funny bunch, having fun finding new ways to trick and deceive our friends whilst picking them off one by one. But that's what made Among Us so fun to play. It was literally a vehicle for friends to drive in whilst everyone argued amongst one another. As the world was in lockdown at the time, people needed to find various outlets to hang out and chat with friends, whilst accusing one of them of being a murderer. So with an incredible amount of people playing the game, how did Senseless see its player base rapidly shrink? For a lot of mainstream gamers, I would say they have the attention span of a goldfish. Unfortunately for Among Us at the time, the game didn't offer a lot past the social aspect of playing it with friends. With the game offering free maps at the time of its peak, and with gamers playing the game non-stop during the weeks where Among Us was hitting records play numbers, the entertainment well of the game quickly dried up. Of course, nobody expected Senseless to pump out new content to keep players hooked. At the time where Among Us had been downloaded over 100 million times, the studio had a team size of 3 people plus 1 programmer. For Senseless, server performance and stability was the focus, with co-founder Forrest Willard revealing that their service had become a target for hackers. Whilst Senseless understandably focused on those things under the hood, gamers were beginning to lose patience, and within 12 months, Among Us had lost around 95% of its player base on PC. Now, it would be easy for me to drop a list of things that Senseless should have done to maintain their player base, but hindsight is a bitch. For a studio of 4 members that developed a simple yet entertaining game to suddenly becoming one of the most popular games on the planet, other indie developers could only dream of having such a small percentage of that type of success. But I do think Among Us is going in the wrong direction in getting gamers back into it. In a recent update, Senseless introduced new roles such as the Guardian Angel and the Engineer, each coming with their own unique abilities. However, I feel like the more the game focuses on introducing new roles, the less enticing it becomes for previous players to return to the game. Among Us was easy for people to introduce to the game because all they needed to do was complete their tasks or kill off crew members. With new roles and abilities, I feel like this adds an unneeded level of mechanics when playing the game. Now, you could simply turn the roles off, but then you're back to square one and playing a game that's remained largely the same since it hit its peak. Another problem area is the lack of maps that have been introduced to the game. Since August 2020, only one map has been added, which was the airship, released back in March 2021. I found the airship to be a very big map, with it harder for the imposter to find victims and for the crew to find bodies. It also made the game seem a lot longer, whilst making it feel less intense and even frustrating as time went on. Smaller contained maps that are easy to pick up and learn should have been the focus for their designs. This would quickly add a variation of maps for players to play, whilst not demanding too much for casual gamers to spend their time learning it. Among Us will certainly remain as one of the most remarkable runaway successes in gaming history. For a game developed by 4 people to having over 500 monthly active users at one point is a feat that nobody nobody will ever be able to take away from Innersloth. The downfall of Among Us shouldn't be looked at from a bad or negative perspective. Instead, the initial heights the game reached during a time where people were forced to stay indoors should serve as a reminder that games are a powerful tool in bringing people together and having fun with one another. Even if I did lose count with the amount of times my friends wrongly kicked me off the ship after I saw the f***ing imposter vent right in front of me. Peace.